fathers and mothers and grandmothers and grandfathers and ancestors, and we can't surrender our power by not using it. It is not a choice to not vote. And if this new candidate at the head of the ticket means anything, we are now energized and the stakes are clear. I believe that tonight, Mr. Trump is shaking in his boots. He'll do anything and everything to avoid a debate with this sister who will call him out for all of his transgressions, for all of his illegal misogynistic activity. We know what we need to do. We have to work in the grassroots. We have to knock on every door. We have to be in every community center, in every church, on every campus. We must light a flame under our community and communities nationwide and build a huge coalition to make this a historic win come November. I am here in my personal capacity, and I am passionate about this choice. I am now not only a father of 3, but a grandfather of a new 2-year-old. And when I think about them and the America I want them to live in. So this fight must continue, and this fight must go on. And I'm just proud to be with all you brothers tonight who are stepping up in a positive way. Roland, let's keep this going. Let's not make this a one-off. Let's keep this conversation going all the way through November, and let us move and work and act.
Mark, we absolutely will. That's one of the reasons why we are collecting data. And so, folks, we want y'all to go to winwithblackmen.org, fill that form out. There's a reason we want you to do that, because we need to do data collection. We don't believe in just having conversations and then don't know who actually was on the phone call. And so that's what we want y'all to do. And so, Mark, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I know all the Omegas and the Kappas sitting here getting mad. Y'all, I'm just following orders. So y'all step on up. Next up, super producer, Will Packer, FAMU, represent HBCUs, Anna Alpha. What's up, Frat?
What up, baby? What's happening?
All good.
Come on, man, bro. I'm gonna hit you with the 11119, sir.
Oh, 6. My voice is hoarse.
Already
I can still hit that.
That's all right. You've been out there putting that work in. One time for the Ice Cold Brothers of A5A. One time for everybody from the Florida A&M University. Shout out. Put them rattlers in the chat so I know you out there. Listen, Ro, I'm not going to be long. I want to give honor to everybody that put this together. Listen, you all that are here, all 20, 30,000 of y'all that are here, you are here, right? You understand how important this is. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to give what you can. Somebody asked, how much? What can you give? What you got? What can you afford to give? Okay? The next thing I want you to do is talk to other brothers, cats that's not in this chat. And y'all know who they are. You know the cats that sit back and go, I don't know, for what, right? Ain't none of them for me. Ain't none of them right. I don't want to do it. I understand that. You got to talk to them. That's what we got to do, use our power and influence. The other side has a base that no matter what, they are always riding for theirs, right? They are counting on us to sit this out. They are counting on us to not have a base that comes out and shows up for this sister. I know Madam VP personally. I know Kamala Harris personally. And I'm telling you now, she is ready. She is up to the challenge, and we will win this. They count us out, brothers. And you know what happens when they count us out. I work in Hollywood. You know that, Ro. And I tell people all the time, you got to understand that audiences never realize the true power that they have. They think that the executives in Hollywood are determining what movies and TV shows are getting made. And I tell people all the time, that's not the case. You know who determines what gets made in Hollywood? You, the audience. Audiences have the power. If you see something, that means that an audience has said, we want to see that. We have the power in this election. This is it. When's the last time you, talking to you that's watching this right now, when the last time you did something that was truly monumental, truly consequential for yourself, for your family, for your community? This is the time. Who better than you? Who better than us? Let's go. That's it. It's period. It's done. This is it. They count us out. They think black men not going to stand up. Guess what? We're going to stand up. We're going to show out. I want you to give what you can, and I want you to reach out to those brothers that are doubting this moment. You know who they are. I want you to talk to those cats. The one that's like, for what? I'm going to sit back. Why do I need to be involved? This is it. This is the moment. It's not another moment. Don't wait on another moment. Don't wait on another time. We don't have time for that. This is it. This is our moment, and Black men will lead the way. Black men will lead the way. Show me something, brothers. That's it. I came on here to say that, bro. That's it. That's what I had to say. Let's go and let's get it. It's our time.
Brett, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much for joining us and sharing those words. And then we're going to see you out on the campaign trail. Let me also remind y'all this. Conan, who is the husband of a young president, he sent me this text. Make sure you tell brothers, don't forget brothers from the block. And here's the deal. We're joking about frats and stuff. But listen, not every brother is in a frat. Not every brother went to college. Not every brother has a college degree. So we're talking about reaching every brother on the streets, every brother in the suites, whether you're a frat, whether you didn't pledge, it doesn't matter. And so we're keeping this thing going. And so we want you to understand, we got brothers from all around the country. People are watching around the world. And again, everybody couldn't get into the chat. Have them go to youtube.com/Roland Martin. They can watch this without having to get in the StreamYard because they capped us. And so we tried to get it expanded, but with issues with their salespeople. Let's go right now to our next guest. You see him on CNN. He's an attorney as well. And he's from South Carolina. Bakari Sellers, one of the co-hosts of this call. Bakari. There you go.
What's up, my brother? How are you?
All good. You're live.
Thank you so much. Look, I am actually in Las Vegas, Nevada, as we speak. And I just wanted to start off by saying I'm from the big city of Denmark, South Carolina, where we have 3 whole stoplights and a blinking light. And my mom and dad would always tell me the 2 most important words you can say in the English language are the words thank you. And so the first thing I want to do is just say thank you to all my brothers on this call. Quentin James, a special thank you. Roland Martin, a special thank you. Win with Black Men, a special thank you. Everyone who came in to coordinate this effort, a special thank you. We joined here for a singular cause and a common good. We're doing something that nobody really thought would be possible at this moment. And we're answering questions that people had about whether or not we could change the world that we live in. I'm somebody who doesn't believe in necessarily what this country was or what it is, but I believe in what this country can be. And so I'm here with my undying support for Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. And the reason being is because many of us who are on this Zoom call, we are head of households, we are fathers, we are brothers, we are boyfriends, we are providers, we are protectors, and oftentimes our voices get muted in the larger political discourse. And I recall a moment in my life where my wife nearly died giving childbirth, and my daughter was sick with a liver disease. We had to have a transplant at 10 months old, Sadie Sellers. And I never forget the first person to call me.
We got you, Doc. We got you. We got you. Take your time.
It was Kamala Harris. I'm not sure people understand the pain or the suffering that goes along with being a Black man in this country. I'm not sure people understand what it means to stand strong in this country. I'm not sure people understand what it means to have your back against the wall. But I'm gonna stand with her because she stood with me. During my darkest moment, when I almost lost my daughter, when I had to protect my wife, when I had to fight for a Black woman in the hospital. And so now it's my turn. And I really don't care what you all say about there's another black man crying or this or that or the third. Because every day I'm gonna work damn hard to make sure that tomorrow's better than yesterday. And so donate, stand up, activate, because if we do not change the country we're living in, our daughters, our sons are gonna have hell to pay. This is an amazing moment for our country. Let's protect Kamala. Let's be with her like she was there for us. And at the end of the day, we're going to disagree along this road. We're going to disagree about a lot. But let's put all that petty bickering aside. Let's just stop with all the petty BS. Let's stop with all the silos. Let's stop with this organization versus that organization, or this city versus that city. And let's stand up and be the black men that changed this country. We built this country. We built our communities. And now it's time for us to stand up again. And so I'm rocking with Kamala. I love all of you all. I'm glad to have this space to share. I want to say a special thank you to the Big Seven. I want to say a special thank you to Rick Wade and Steve Benjamin. A special thank you to Don Lemon. All of these brothers who are on here from South Carolina, Jamie Devine, Aaron Bishop, Antoine C. Wright, and happy birthday, Jim Clyburn. I love you all.
All right, Bakari, I appreciate that, my brother. Somebody sent me a text and say, hey, ain't nothing wrong with a real man showing emotion, showing crime. So, brother, we appreciate that powerful testimony that you just gave, quite emotional. And absolutely, that's a real sister in Kamala Harris, absolutely. So, Bakari, we appreciate that, man. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for being one of the organizers of this and co-hosting this. Thanks a bunch. To everybody who's watching, it's a lot moving. We got a number of speakers going. And so also, we also see the donut button. Folks, give me an update on how much we've raised. It's a lot of different brothers on here, different walks of life, brothers who are blue collar, who are white collar, you name it, attorneys and doctors, just engineers, janitors, airport ramp workers. I'm seeing your text messages. I'm seeing your comments in the chat rooms. And so, man, we appreciate that. I want to go now to Florida. Congressman Maxwell Frost joins us right now. Brother, how you doing? Keenan, we're going to Congressman Maxwell Frost.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on.
Glad to have you here. Haven't had you yet on Roller Mark Unfiltered. We got to make that happen. But you right now on Game with Black Men. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity, and it's great to be here as we together, especially as Black men, coming around this historic opportunity to elect Kamala Harris as the president of the United States. And I want to talk specifically about an issue that's really important to me, which is ending gun violence. I got involved in politics at the age of 15 years old, because I didn't want to get shot. It was seeing the gun violence in my community. It was seeing the gun violence across the entire country that pushed me to get involved in politics in the first place. And when I got to Congress, the first bill I introduced was to create this federal office of gun violence prevention, which none other than the Vice President of the United States, Vice President Harris, has been overseeing. And when we talk about policy that centers the most vulnerable people, when we talk about policy that centers Black people in this country, we have to talk about community violence intervention. A lot of the things that have been done outside of the carceral system to end gun violence before it even happens, and work at creating the conditions necessary so people don't have to pick up the gun in the first place. And the Vice President has been a leader in that office, fighting to ensure we have hundreds of millions of dollars going to our communities across the entire country. And so that's one of the many reasons I'm proud to be supporting her. Many of you know me, and some of you might not know, I'm the youngest member of Congress, the first member of my generation, Gen Z, to be in Congress. And I'll tell you, this issue, especially for young people, but especially for young Black men, is top of mind. When we talk about survivors of gun violence, there's a lot of Black men out there that are surviving gun violence on a daily basis. And I think the Vice President has the opportunity to really bring this issue to the forefront and talk about it. in the way that needs to be spoken about. Yes, it's making sure guns don't get in the wrong hands, but it's creating the conditions necessary so people don't feel the need to pick it up in the first place. And that's one of the many reasons I'm excited to be on this call, to support our vice president so we can make it the president. So I come from organizing, so I got to put out an organizing pitch. I want to encourage everybody on this call, before you leave this call, of course, make sure you donate. But if you can, knock some doors and make some phone calls. Don't let yourself leave this call before you sign up for a shift, before you sign up to go out in your community, speak with some voters in your community or friends that you have about how important this is. We can't sit this one out. We always say it's the most important election of our lifetime, and we say that because it's true, because the most important thing is what's right in front of us, and what's right in front of us is this. So again, I appreciate you having me on. I don't want to take up too much time, but wanted to speak about an issue that's dear to my heart. I'm all about this. I'll be on the road across the country to get the youth vote out, and I'll see y'all out there.
Congressman Maxwell Frost from Florida. I really appreciate it. And when you come on Roll About Unfiltered, we'll give you a lot more time.
Of course. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Folks, we got a lot of folks who are waiting to get on. We've got, of course, out of Virginia, the second Black Speaker of the House just elected, Don Scott. My frat brother also plays at Texas A&M Power Macron chapter. U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock, another brother, waiting to get him on as well. Right now, I want to go to Pennsylvania. First, Pennsylvania Democratic Party Chair, State Senator Sharif Street. We also have State Senator Vincent Hughes. So let's go to Sharif first, and then we're going to go to Vincent Hughes, and then we're going to go to Chevron Jones, and then Reverend Terry Melvin, the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists. So State Senator Sharif Street, you're up. Yes, sir. I think you're on mute.
You got me now. Can you hear me now?
Now we got you. Go.
Look, Roland, all right. Look, I'm glad to be on the call. I've heard from all the other brothers. Look, in Pennsylvania, we need all the support we can get. Black turnout can make the difference with Black folks turnout, not only in Philadelphia, but Pittsburgh, but Harrisburg, Lancaster, Reading, and all the various cities around there. We can make sure that Pennsylvania holds up the blue wall and we elect Kamala Harris president of the United States. But not only that, in Pennsylvania, if you're out here, we can make the difference in holding the U.S. Senate when we reelect Bob Casey to the U.S. Senate. Pennsylvania, we can make the difference in holding the U.S. House. We got 4 seats that could be in play. We can make sure that we reelect Susan Wild to Congress. We can make sure that we elect Matt Cartwright to Congress. We can flip 2 seats. We can elect Ashley Ehasz in the 1st district. We can take the 10th district as well. And understand this, I know a lot of folks want to get on. Kamala Harris has been delivering for us. She filed a litigation as an attorney general to take on the opioid companies. We see the drugs that go on in our communities. All that's not coming across the border. There were legal U.S. companies pumping opioids into our communities. She took them on as attorney general. It filed with 34 other attorney generals in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania to do it. She's helped close the Black wealth gap as Vice President of the United States. She's worked to get lead and asbestos out of our schools. Black kids are more likely to have lead poisoning than anybody else. These are critical issues. She has a track record of delivering. Now it's time for us to knock doors, give money, make calls, and get out the vote. We need to deliver for her because she's delivered for us, and we especially need to deliver for us in the battleground states like Pennsylvania. Roland, thank you for doing this call, and I thank everybody for allowing us to participate.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you so very much. Senator Hughes, hold tight. I got to quickly go to Florida, take Senator Chevron Jones, and I'm coming back to Philadelphia and Pennsylvania with Senator Vincent Hughes. So
by the way, Kappa Alpha Psi to the day I die.
All right. Snuck a little Kappa in here. All right, Dan. Appreciate it. All right. Appreciate it, brother. State Senator Chevron Jones. My alpha brother, go right ahead. I think you're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Hey, Fred, you can hear me?
Now you're good. Go.
Good to hear you, brother. Thank you, Brother Roland, Brother Quentin, Bakari, and Brother Khalil. First, I want to thank you all for calling us all in for this huddle this evening. I come here from Florida, and we're just happy to be here in this moment. It definitely warms my heart to know that men, Black men, and that we gather at such a time as this. Black men, we are not a monolith. And Governor Westmore said it best.
We have different stories. We have different experiences. We all have different testimonies. We've reached this point where we can once again demonstrate our capabilities just like we have done in the past. We're familiar with hard work and we understand the impact of our collective strength. And I believe that this is the time for us to support Black women as they have supported us and they continue to support us. You all know the old saying that Malcolm X has said, and that as the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. We have the opportunity to show America that Black women are respected, that they are supported, and that they are protected. I have a mother who lived through Jim Crow. She saw the first Black president. And now we see the day when her Sarah will be sworn in as the president of the United States. Brothers, we have the opportunity to amplify and mobilize around Vice President Harris. And based on this call, I know that we're ready. We're seeing as if we're ready. And after today's call, I charge all of you all, create your own community conversations with other Black men, with other community leaders and other stakeholders. Make that clarion call in your own communities and build that energy that we know that we can build, that we have built before. Brother Roland, I can't wait to see the momentum that we're about to build across this country, and because I know we can do it. And we know we need to do it, brothers. And I believe that we will get this done. God bless you all. I love y'all. Love you, King. Thank you so much, Fred.
Fred, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Let's go back to Pennsylvania. State Senator Vincent Hughes, also the husband of Cheryl Lee Ralph. What's up, my brother?
I may not be a proud frat member, but I'm a damn sure proud husband of Cheryl Lee Ralph. I'll be clear about that, all right? Roland and crew, thank you for pulling this together. If you need reasons why to support Kamala Harris for president, let's walk it down real quickly. In the Biden-Harris economic policy program, states have huge budget surpluses now. What have we done with that in Pennsylvania? Over $155 million of grant money, not loan money, went to small Black and brown businesses, the barbershop, the beauty salon. And I said, grants, not loans, grants, not loans. One example. Second example, we just began the funding of the huge education discrimination lawsuit case in Pennsylvania's history. Just this past budget, because of the Biden-Harris budget surpluses that were provided to Pennsylvania, we've driven $1.1 billion to school districts all across Pennsylvania, most of them Black and brown, that historically have been left out. Because of the Biden-Harris budget surpluses that have been provided to Pennsylvania, we've gotten over $240 million to neighborhood-based anti-violence programs that have reduced violence, gun violence in Pennsylvania, and in Philadelphia specifically, the largest reduction of any big city in the country. We've got money to Black and brown mental health providers serving Black and brown communities because of the Biden-Harris economic policies. But let's ask this question on a more personal level. What do we say to our sisters? When asked the question, where were you when Kamala Harris had the opportunity to be president of the United States of Pennsylvania? Do we say we stood with our sisters, partner to partner, shoulder to shoulder, or do we say we turned the other way? What do we say to our children? Daddy, where were you? Papa, where were you when it was that time, when it was that moment? Do we say we stood with them and stood for their future? Or we turn the other way? What do we say to our allies who are waiting to see if we're going to step up and stand up? Because they're waiting to see if we're going to move before they move. What do we say to them? And for those of us, brothers, who think about this from a historical perspective, this moment that we're in right now is a manifestation of wherever we were in 1984 and 1988 with Reverend Jackson and his effort to empower us and to move us forward when seeking the White House. This is just another step in that line. And this sister is prepared from day one. She is like that philosophy. If you stay ready, you never have to get ready. The question is, are we going to step up? So all I'm asking, Roland and everybody, all the brothers, take your hill. Take your personal hill. That's that right. Family, that community, that neighborhood that you live on, that you work in, and that you thrive in. Take that hill right now. This is our moment. This is our time. Let's make the difference that we deserve to make. And this sister deserves us to stand up for her and with her. All right, Roland.
All right, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much, folks. We got a lot of folks waiting. My man, Drew Bullock, is going to give us a breakdown in a bit about the attacks on the criminal justice record of Kamala Harris. And so we're going to get that. But right now, I want to go to Reverend Terry Melvin with the Coalition of Black Trade Unions. Reverend Melvin, are you there? Reverend Terry Melvin. He's next. Then we have U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock, Speaker of Virginia, Don Scott, and then Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul. And so right now, let's go to Reverend Melvin. Keenan, you got Reverend Terry Melvin? Do you have Reverend Terry Melvin? Keenan, send me a text. If you don't have Reverend Terry Melvin, let's go to U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock out of Georgia.
Well,
Warnock,
brothers,
you're live, Frat.
good to be with you, Frat. Hello, brothers. We got to throw it up. There we go. Listen, it's wonderful to be here with you. I'm in a car making my way across Georgia where I had an event earlier today, but I wouldn't miss tonight for anything. Thank you, Roland and Mike Blake and Bakari Sellers, Khalil Thompson, Quentin James. Thank you all for pulling this together. This is our moment. This is the moment of truth for us to show up. Kamala Harris's name will be on the ballot, but in a very real sense, it's our families that are on the ballot. It's our future that's on the ballot. Our sons and our daughters are on the ballot. I can say a whole lot of Kamala Harris, whom I consider not only an extraordinary human being, an extraordinary vice president, she's a good friend. And I'm thinking about so much right now. I'm thinking about the moment we confirmed to the United States Supreme Court another outstanding Black woman, Ketanji Brown Jackson. That day, we confirmed her. The Senate chamber was full. And had I not won, had John Ossoff not won in Georgia, first Black senator, first Jewish senator, even with Joe Biden in the White House, we wouldn't have been confirming Ketanji Brown.
Sorry about that. My bad. I'm sorry. I was muted. Do we have Speaker Don Scott? We lost Senator Warnock. He said he was traveling. We'll try to get him back on. We must have lost his feed there. And so can we go to the second African-American, the Speaker of the House in Virginia, Don Scott? Keenan, you got Don? Do you have Don? Okay. All right, we don't have Don. Let's go to Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Roland? And good evening, everyone. It is really, truly my honor and privilege to be with you all this evening. What an exciting opportunity we have as a country. Of course, let me just first thank President Biden for his leadership. He will certainly be recorded in history as one of the most consequential, one of the most effective presidents in the United States history. And I'm speaking as a former social studies teacher. But in this moment, and as soon as President Biden made his decision, I was one of the first elected leaders in this country to endorse Kamala Harris. I didn't flinch. In fact, that's what this moment requires. Black men to stand up and not flinch. That's how I grew up. I'm one of 10. My brother would always say to me, and my older brother, if you're in a fight and you're ducking, you're losing. If you flinch, you're losing. We have to swing on behalf of our daughters, our aunts, our sisters, our cousins, our wives, our grandmothers. I mean, they helped build this democracy. It is very evident that there are forces that want a rematch on the Civil War. They made it very clear a season ago. They are playing for keeps. The best moment that we have to secure our democracy and protect the progress that we've made as a people is to put our arms around this sister, Vice President Kamala Harris. Yesterday, looking at my daughter in her face, 10 years old, Braden, for her to see a reflection of her being and her person and her values reflected in Vice President Kamala Harris as the first Black woman to serve as president of these United States, that's why I didn't hesitate, and that's why I did not flinch. The first elected official in the state of Illinois to come out and support her. I'm committed to doing what we do well as Black men. We organize, we challenge, we provide protection, we provide support that's financially and otherwise. The last thing that I'll say is this: her commitment to a few things that we've been working on in Chicago, her commitment to making sure that we have real investment for behavioral health, mental health services for our young people in our schools, $285 million, 14,000 clinicians around the country. That's why I'm supporting her. I just passed a $1.25 billion investment for housing, affordable housing, and economic development. Her position, securing $12 billion for Californians when in her other capacity, and what she has done as vice president around affordable housing is why I'm also supporting her. And then the last thing is this: we have real challenges with community safety around this country, particularly gun violence, whether it's school shootings, whether it's shootings on the block. President Biden trusting Vice President Kamala Harris to oversee, for the first time in the history of Chicago and in the history of America, gun violence prevention office reduction. That's critical for our transformation. So look, I'm excited about this moment. I got elected a year ago with young voters. 26,532 votes determined my election as a progressive Black mayor versus going in a different direction. 27,000 new voters voted in April of last year, all under the age of 34. The tide is shifting. Let's make sure that we build an America that works for working people, and that person that actually helped transform our country. Coming out of the city of Chicago with this convention, and I expect all of you brothers to show up as well, because this is the city that said, keep hope alive. This is the city that said, yes, we can. This is the city that launched the first Black woman to be a United States Senator, Kara Mosley Braun, the ambassador. History is made in Chicago. Dr. King said, we figured it out in Chicago, we can do it anywhere in the world. So you can see my enthusiasm. Let's make sure that Kamala Harris not only shatters the glass ceilings, but let's make sure that we build up an economy that works for our people. God bless y'all, brother. Look forward to seeing y'all in August, and let's make sure we make history in November.
All right, then, Mayor Brandon Johnson, we appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Brothers, we have surpassed $800,000. $800,000. Let's get to $1 million. You see the donate button right there, secure.actblue.com/donate/TPC-comma. Let's stay in Illinois. Here's Attorney General Kwame Raoul.
Roland, thanks for having me. And first off, let me say to the mayor, I was in the no flinch zone as well. I was the first statewide elected official to endorse Kamala Harris yesterday. I don't know who was first, whether it was the mayor or me, but I'm gonna give him I'll trust his word on that. Secondly, let me thank you and for organizing this call. I knew something was up when I saw the black and gold colors on the on the invitation. You know, there was a conspiracy to get a bunch of alpha men on here, but that's all right. I circulated that black and gold invite to my Kappa brothers in Chicago, and I'm encouraging them all to make a donation just as I did. I want to really thank as a father of a daughter, I want to thank Bakari for sharing his story, displaying his strength. Sometimes as Black men, we get confused as to what strength is. And sometimes we think that standing behind a Black woman as a leader does not display strength as Black men. I'm here to tell you all tonight that it does the opposite of that. It displays strength. That's why I had no hesitation in supporting Kamala Harris. I've seen her demonstrated leadership. And I'm asking all the brothers on the call tonight to do one thing. When we see a misled brother trying to take down our sister, mischaracterizing her history of leadership. I have served as a prosecutor. I have served and continue to serve as AG. And I know the decision making you have to make. And I've seen people mischaracterize her record. We have to step up and we have to characterize those brothers, because those brothers are not displaying the type of strength that I'm talking about. We have an opportunity right now to make history by electing Kamala Harris. I'm standing behind a Black woman to be president of the United States, and it doesn't make me any less of a Black man. I'm asking all of you all to do the same. Thank you, Roland.
All right, sir, we appreciate it. Thanks so very much. Folks, let's go to New York City. Congressman Gregory Meeks. Congressman Meeks, let's pull him up, folks. Do we have Congressman Gregory Meeks? Keenan, if we don't have Meeks, let's go to, there we go, Congressman Gregory Meeks, go right ahead. What's up, Frat?
Thank you for doing this, Roland.
Congressman Gregory Meeks.
Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you so much because it's so important.
Let's go to,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, let's turn your program down so that way we don't get the feedback. Go right ahead.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for all the brothers that with you and the brother Blake. Also, this is so important. The camera of history is rolling right now. And sometimes when you're living history, you don't understand it and you don't realize the consequences it means for the future. I can think of the brothers that were walking back in the civil rights movement. Charlie Rangel talked about how he was cussing as he was walking in the rain with his shoes on.
Did we lose Congressman Meeks? Did he freeze up? If we lost Congressman Meeks, he froze up there. Let's get his signal back. But let me go to right now, Attorney Ben Crump. Ben, got an Omega. All Omega's happy. Ben, are you there?
Hey, Roland.
Yes, sir.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let's do this here. Turn your program down because we're getting feedback. So just talk to me around. So whatever the program, turn it down. Just go ahead and talk. Go ahead.
Okay. Roland, it's so good to be with the brothers as we make history, or should I say, her story. As I was with the family of Sonia Massey, sister who was shot in the face by a police officer after she called 911, as busy as the vice president is, she always finds time to give a voice to those who are often forgot about, as you very well know, Roland. And obviously, you know, I am 110% committed to Vice President Kamala Harris because of the relationship going back to the days after Trayvon, when I handled a police case out in California, and she was the attorney general. And even though we were against one another, we had such healthy respect, and she really showed me and demonstrated to me that she cares about our people passionately. And so what we have to do, brothers and sisters, is protect her. We have to protect her from all of those who are going to try to attack her because of racism, sexism, classism, and just all around haterade. That's what happens. When I talk to her, she sometimes don't even understand why they're being so visceral and nasty to her. And the one thing I always say, Roland, Madam Vice President, you've been chosen for this moment. Some people don't want to accept that. And so you just go ahead and keep your eyes on the prize. And us strong black men and us strong black women, we gonna watch your nine and we got your back. So tonight is a testament to that. As I'll say this, Roland, she is the perfect person to be able to prosecute and cross-examine Trump's Project 2025. I mean, she, as a civil trial lawyer, she is somebody who understands the nuance and the strategy and the brilliance of getting a shyster like Trump boxed in a corner where he can't get out. I really hope that he has the courage to debate her. In the words of my little daughter, we dare him to debate the vice president. We double dog dare him to debate the vice president, to be able to show not only America, but the world just how brilliant this sister is, just how much she is a symbol of hope, not just for black people, but all marginalized people in America who have never had the constitutional guarantees fully bestowed upon them. This is our opportunity. And I know we can win this thing. Roland, you understand president politics, battleground politics better than most. Her path to victory, as long as the Democrats will vote Democratic and not be blindsided by bias or bigotry, and we get our brothers and sisters and our little cousins and nieces, nephews, our homeboys, our homegirls, our frat brothers, our Mason brothers, Shaniquas, Junebugs, everybody, as Derek Johnson, NAACP president, often say, the infrequent voters, like with Obama, like what they did in Georgia with the Senate races. If we get those infrequent voters fired up and get to the polls, then she has such an easy path to victory. And like the great men of Omega Psi Phi say, Roland Martin, we need 10 of us. We come to the poll and we bring 10 people with us. Unlikely voters, people, some of them might be in our family, some of them may be in our community, but we write their names down and we make sure that they are registered to vote and they come to vote. And oh, by the way, y'all brothers, God has blessed everybody on this call. We can donate to Kamala and scare the hell out of those billionaires, because when you got small donors, that's way greater than those billionaire donors, because money don't vote, people vote. And that's why we got to have a ground game and organize.
That's it. All right, Ben Crump, I appreciate it.
Love you, brother.
And again, we got brothers from all stripes on here, in fraternities, not in fraternities, in college graduates, not college graduates. We got on all stripes. We got grassroots. We got people blue collar, white collar, you name it, we got it. He's about to get on a plane right now. Let's quickly go to Derek Johnson, President and CEO of NAACP. Again, he's speaking in his personal capacity tonight. And so, Derek, go right ahead. We got Derek. Do we have Derek Johnson? All right, we don't have Derek Johnson. Do we have Reverend Terry Melvin? Kenny, do we have, let's see here, Reverend Terry Melvin, go right ahead. There you go.
Hey, Roland, how you doing? Thank you so much for pulling us together and all the brothers that are here with us tonight. This should be the beginning of something great. This should be not a moment, but a movement of brothers coming together to do something positive to save our country. Look, we must support Kamala Harris because she is qualified. The fact that she is Black is great. The fact that she's a woman is great, but she is qualified to be the next leader of the free world. I want to report that just this evening, the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, in their last 52 years of being in existence, has only made 4 other endorsements for the office of President of the United States. Tonight, we chose to endorse Kamala Harris to be the next president of these United States. And why did we do it? Because she is qualified. Look, this election is about the difference between saving our democracy and saving our children and grandchildren's future. Black men, we've got to come together like never before. We've been called out. We've been told we're not enough. We're not going to come together. But this is the time that we stand up and support this sister to go to the highest office in this nation. I was also a part, that's why I was late, of the New York delegation meeting today, where we endorsed, collectively endorsed as a delegation of the state of New York to endorse Kamala Harris because she is the one that we need in this office. Again, this is the beginning, and this has to be not a moment, but a movement. We've got to stand together because we know that we need the White House, we need the Senate, and we need the House. And we've got to pull together all of our resources, all of our forces to make this happen. When Black men come together, when Black men work together, then we will win. And I believe that we're ready to do something. Let me say what I've been saying for the last 6 months. We have the opportunity in this country, this election, to elect somebody that's going to do something for us or somebody that's going to do something to us. I want to elect the person that's going to do something for us, that's going to make a better future for this country. So it is time for us to not just talk the talk, but we got to walk the walk. And we got to give whatever we can. I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's 50 cents or $50,000. Whatever we can afford based on where we are in our place in life. Whatever we do, whatever we can afford, we've got to give. Look, the women met, Black women met yesterday, and they did over $1 million, I'm understood. Now, we have got to lead, Black men. We've got to put some money in the coffers. I'm calling on everyone on this line to give. Give like you've never given before. And not only give, but it is time to go to work in this election. Immediately, not tomorrow, but tonight. Get on the phone after this call and start calling your friends, your family, and tell them we all must get involved in this fight to save democracy, to save us from Project 2025, to save our country. Thank you so much for calling us together. And let's let this be the beginning. Let's set up more of these calls, not just for an election, but let's just talk about Black men power, getting together and making a difference. God bless you and thank you, Roland.
Reverend Melvin, I appreciate that. And that's one of the reasons why we're collecting as much data as we can. Thank you so very much. All right, Pastor Rudy McKissick. Let me bring up another Omega, Derek Johnson, President, CEO, NAACP. He is speaking on his personal capacity. He's about to hop on a plane. Derek, go right ahead. Derek, you're on mute. Hit the mute button.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Now we got you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? I want to thank you, Quentin, Michael Blake, and everyone who organized this. What's at stake in this election is not only what's at the top of the ticket, and let me start by saying I'm speaking in my personal capacity, not as head of the C4 organization, but the Southern courts is important. The administration did really good in appointing more Black judges than any other president in the history. But where majority of Black people live in the former Confederate South, we did not get district court judges appointed and confirmed. This election is as important as any other time. They're playing chess, not checkers. It's not about the one election cycle. It's about controlling the federal courts for the next 40 years. And at the clip on, they are prepared to that. That's why November is important. That's why we must turn out. And that's why we raise money to ensure that we can get the message out and turn out to vote. I want to thank my brother Ben Crump for talking about the freaking voter program. It is important that we turn out every that's living in our house, our community, because we have the numbers. They may have money, but we have the numbers to turn out to vote. We don't have a time for us versus us paradigm. We have a time for us reality. Finally, Project 2025 is a 60-year goal that they put in place, and they have perfected their method of using the arc of time to put in place an apartheid system that was 1930, then 2030. It is important for us to recognize what's been put in place. And for any of our brothers who are in the barbershops that conspiracy theories, the only conspiracy that's taking place is a conspiracy to take your ass out. And that's 2025, whether it's taking out Head Start, whether it is taking out all the programs that we care about. At the end of the day, there is nothing important in this election. There's nothing more important than what's at the top of the ticket. There's nothing more important than make sure we get control of the Senate. There's nothing more important than we prevent them from implementing Project 2025. There's nothing more important than us making sure that we put in place top of system to protect democracy and secure our system. It is our time to do it. It is our time. Thank you, Roland. Thank you, Quinn. Thank you, Michael Blake. Take care.
Derek, I appreciate that. Safe travels on the airplane. Let's go to, we got Senator Raphael Warnock back. Let's go to Senator Raphael Warnock. Let's pull up Senator Raphael Warnock. We know he's traveling on the road. Keenan, you got him? Do we have Senator Warnock? All right, let me know we get Senator Warnock. Let's go to Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens, a good capper. Mayor Dickens?
Hey, Roland, can you hear me?
We got you.
All right, good. I'm just like a bunch of other brothers. I'm traveling as well. That means we are all out here doing the work of the people, and I know Senator Warnock is too. But listen, I wanted to chime in on everything. Thank you, Roland. Thank you, Bakari and Michael Blake and Khalil and everybody else who helped to put this together. I'm excited. We are fired up in the state of Georgia and in the city of Atlanta. You know, what made sure that Biden got over and won that election was the state of Georgia. And Donald Trump is still looking for those 11,000 votes. Well, we got them. And we are fully fired up right now behind Kamala Harris. She's received the endorsement of President Joe Biden. She's received the endorsement of so many other elected leaders, including myself. And now we're fired up. And I know a thing or two about momentum. We got 100 days, y'all. And in this 100 days, this momentum is going to carry us all the way to victory. And I want to just make sure that I share this with all the brothers out there from the state of Georgia and those in the South, that we don't doubt nothing. We're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to make sure that we turn out to vote in the state of Georgia. The victory that we got for Joe Biden and Raphael Warnock and Ossoff is going to happen once again for Kamala Harris. We are fired up, so much so that, you know, everybody from labor unions in Georgia to all the delegates have already guaranteed that all their votes are going towards Kamala Harris. So now it's time for us to raise the money, get the volunteers, and go forward. One thing that I've been hearing is Republicans are scared. And one of the ways I know they're scared is they're already talking about lawsuits. You know they're afraid of Kamala Harris, as if not even in 24 hours are they talking about suing the party for having her already be the nominee. See, that's the kind of fear that we've already struck in them by this momentum that we've got going with over $80 million raised in 24 hours. And brothers, we are all putting our money in Atlanta. We got our money train coming. We are definitely going to show up big with our support. So let's go out there and do our thing. Yes, I'm a Kappa man. Yes, Roland, you're Alphas, and everybody else. We're calling out our organizations. We come together just like I was working for Warnock to help the Divine Nine be able to put him over the finish line when he ran in that historic election. And just like Joe Biden, we all work very hard to be able to get him where he is. That's going to happen again for Kamala Harris. Brother, I'm excited. Let's make sure we turn out the polls, whether it's through our churches, through our nonprofits, our organizations, our businesses. Somebody that you know may not have casted a vote in a long time. Don't give up on them. Make sure they know what's at stake in this election. And for us city leaders, I don't know a single mayor across America that is unfamiliar with how impactful the Biden-Harris administration has been to mayors. I know the world's busiest airport has benefited from it. I know the city of Atlanta's roads and infrastructure and the Belt Line as well as all the number of things that we got going on in the city. Our crime rate went down because the American Rescue Plan Act that Biden-Harris put together. So Kamala Harris is at that table, and when she becomes president, she's going to make sure that our cities get just what we need, which is why we were able to reduce our homicide rate by 21%, while we were able to hire all these kids and make sure they have the best year ever with the Year of the Youth, because of the programs and the policies and the money that came out of Biden-Harris. When Harris has it as the presidency, we're really going to take off and do amazing things for Black and brown people and youth and urban communities and all of America. So I'm excited. You can count on me, Roland. Let's continue to keep this thing going. I'm glad to see all these brothers on the call. I watched the sisters last night and they did their thing. And I'm hearing so many conversations that are excited in all the communities that I represent, not just Black communities, but all of them. People are ready to go across America and definitely in the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia. Let's keep this thing going, guys, and let's continue to support one another. No doubt, no fear. We're moving towards the finish line.
Mayor Dickens, I appreciate it, my brother. Thank you so very much. Folks, we got a big, important update. Here's Mike Blake, Quentin James.
Brothers, thank y'all so much for joining us.
Won't you kick it off first, Q?
Yes. Thank y'all, brothers, for joining us. Roland, thank you so much. Y'all, I've raised a lot of money over the past few years. I have never been a part of an effort to raise over $1 million in less than 2 hours. Win with Black men. Win with Black men, y'all. This is powerful. I am sitting I'm out of the country right now. I'm on vacation. And this has been so amazing. The other important announcement, Kamala Harris has now secured enough pledged delegates to be the official nominee for the Democratic Party over the next few weeks. And so, y'all, this is incredible. Thank you all. Thank you all. Please keep giving, though. I will say, listen, the Black women last night, Black women, they raised, I think, 1.5 million on their call.
1.6. It's at 1.6. I had Holly Holiday on my show. They had 1.6. Yo, we gonna get past 1.6.
We gonna get them.
Come on, bro.
Let's go. Let's keep it up. Thank you again, Roland. Let's keep it going. Got a lot more speakers to come, but thank you all so much for being here, for giving, and we're gonna have some organizing updates. Our money is important, but also our time is gonna be important. So you're gonna hear from the DNC and Trey Baker and Darren Owens, other folks on DNC, to give us some marching orders for our time to get our brothers, again, from the streets to the suites, lined up to make sure that we're knocking on doors, making phone calls, doing the work and organizing to get Vice President Harris over the finish line.
Mike Blake, Mike.
Look, we got to keep this going, y'all. We have more to do. We are excited. If you did not hear the update just now, we have passed tonight $1 million raised to make sure that Vice President Harris becomes President Harris. We are raising this to support her campaign and to support Black men organizations that are doing the work on the ground. You know, Collective, Vote to Live, Democracy in Action, Kairos Democracy Project, Black Men Vote, Win with Black Men, Black Male Voter Project. We are here to do the work. And because of what you are doing, we got to keep going, everybody. They're afraid of us right now. They're afraid of what we're doing. They can't understand that Black women and Black men have stepped up in this way. So we need you. So again, you see the link on the screen. Doesn't matter what the amount is. It matters to making sure we all home. 106 days, everybody. Other critical update, because many of you have been asking this. Because of what's happening in California, New York, and other state delegations, the Vice President has now garnered more pledged delegates to ensure she will be our nominee. Now we got work to do. We got to keep pressing everybody. So we have more speakers to go. We are excited. We are excited. We are excited. Click on the link. That will ensure that we support Vice President Harris becoming President Harris and supporting Black men-led organizations that will be doing the work across the country. Brother Martin, let's keep this all going. We got more speakers to go. We're excited. We're excited.
And Brother Martin, you know, if any brother on this call had 38 felonies, they would not be on this call. They would not be taking flights around the country, speaking at rallies. They would not be going to see their kids, not be spending time, doing crazy things that Donald Trump does. So we got to make sure that somebody else gets held accountable, that Black men, that if they have 38 felonies, they'd be buried underneath the jail. So we got to make sure we show up. We got to do what's right and show up and vote and organize in our communities.
All right. Absolutely. Gentlemen, I appreciate that. To all of the speakers, please, if you can limit it to 2 minutes. We got lots of people lined up. We gotta get to them. Y'all let me know. We have Senator Warnock back into the room. I'm checking here. So let's do this here. Let's go real quick. I'm gonna go to right now. Let's go to Cliff Albright, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. Cliff, again, speaking in his personal capacity. Cliff, you there? Cliff, let's go.
Show up, you gotta do what's right.
Hey, Cliff, turn your audio down. Cliff, turn your, Cliff. I appreciate that. Cliff, all the speakers. Cliff, turn your program audio down. 2 minutes. We got lots of people lined up. We gotta get to them. Okay, tell Cliff I need him to do. Let's go to, let me go to real quick. Hey, Drew Bullock, y'all. Drew Bullock has been studying the record of Kamala Harris. A lot of people have been spreading lies and misinformation about her criminal justice record. Drew, give it to us straight, the truth about Kamala Harris's criminal justice record. All this stuff about how she put thousands of black men in jail. Give it to us straight, Drew.
Well, thank you for having me. Real quick, listen, all of it's cap. None of it's true. Ain't no thousands of black men being thrown in jail by Kamala Harris. That is not what happened at all. As a matter of fact, when it came to things like simple possession for marijuana crimes, when she was DA of San Francisco, even when people had felony amounts, they were regularly pleading that down to misdemeanor charges. Folks were not getting locked up. And I'd even touch on this program she started called Back on Track, which instead of giving you jail time, even if you got caught with like 2 grams of crack where you facing 40 years, you go to a boot camp, get training, go through certain classes. You got a job waiting for you when you get out. You got your GED waiting for you when you get out if necessary. You got parental training if you need it when you get out. So, nah, she wasn't locking us up. She was keeping us out of jail. So I'm eternally grateful for what she has done for many people who look like me, who come from different circumstances. And more recently, just keep in mind that child tax credit, that's her idea that show that. And that COVID-19 release bill, the one that got us all the testing kits and the vaccines and those $1,400 checks and all that stuff that y'all love to talk about. Say, oh man, Trump gave us. No, that was definitely a tie-breaking vote by none other than Vice President Kamala Harris. So guess what? I'm supporting her, giving her a vote. Make sure y'all donate, give money. But she got us. We got to make sure that we get her. So that's really what it is, yo. Oh yeah, by the way, Aggie Pride, of course.
A&T. Be sure to follow Drew on Twitter. He breaks down all of the facts. Be sure to watch him. Let's go now to a councilman in Maryland, Will Jawando. Will, what you got? Will Jawando. We got Will there? Do we have Will? All right. Let's go to Senator Warnock. Okay, Will Jawando, go. No, Will, go ahead.
Hey, I appreciate you. Good to see y'all. And I'm glad to join the caucus of being on the road, being an active black man, supporting our vice president. I really appreciate all you brothers for organizing this. And my brother Roland, brother Blake, brother Thompson, Bakari, thank you for sharing your heart, man. You inspired me. One of the first things that Kamala Harris does every time she sees you, she asks about your family. She asks about your kids. She invites them to come see her. She cares about our families, our people, more than anybody. To the brother who was just talking about her work as a prosecutor, she brought her heart into that and soul into that work, a very difficult job. We've always had to deal with that as black people. 1 in 3 of us as black men have been arrested by 21, 1 in 2, arrested by 21. 1 in 3 will spend time in jail or prison. That weighed on her every day, and she brought that into her job. So put to rest all that stuff that people talk about her. I just want to tell you 2 things. Kamala Harris will work harder than anybody for all of our communities, but we have to support her as black men. I'm so proud that we're past $1 million. I'm gonna make another donation tonight. We can be on par and compete with our sisters who knocked it out of the park last night. The excitement that's been out there. I'm a Maryland delegate as well as a council member in Montgomery County, but also worked in the Obama White House. And I've known Kamala for over 15 years, and she cares about this community. We voted by acclamation in Maryland to give all of her delegates. She secured all the delegates already. This all happened in one day, millions of dollars. And this has already reached the grassroots. So the fire has already been lit. Our job as Black men is to step up and support and be leaders and help our sister get to the White House so that she can help all of us do better. All of us do better. And that's what Kamala always has done. She cares about our community. And last thing I'll say, she focuses on the small stuff. She built this administration with President Biden, who will go down in history as someone who has done more for Black people as president than any president probably since Abraham Lincoln, appointing a sister to the Supreme Court. And Kamala has been his helpmeet. She's ready on day one. Appreciate y'all and can't wait to get this done. Let's get it done.
Brett, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thank you so very much. Let's go to Senator Raphael Warnock. Senator Warnock, we got your back?
I'm here.
There we go. All right, go.
Well, Roland, I'm going to defy Baptist gravity and be brief. Listen, brothers, this moment, this night will go down in history when the brothers got together to say that we are all in for the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris. I've often said that a vote is a kind of prayer for the world we desire for ourselves and for our children. And our prayers are stronger when we pray together. Brothers, it's time to pray with our lips and with our legs, with our hands and with our feet. It's time to show up for not just for Kamala Harris. Her name is on the ballot, but it's our families and our future that's really on the ballot. Donald Trump, I don't have to tell you, is a plague on the American conscience and a threat to our democracy. He is an existential threat, and the Lord has given us a way to make sure that we stop him at the pass. I've known Kamala Harris for years now. She's been to my church. I know her pastor. I know her faith, and I know that her faith is what drives her in this important work. Don't let anybody slow us down asking the question, can a Black woman win? Can a Black woman be elected as president of the United States? On a smaller scale, I know something about that kind of question. Can a Black man who grew up in the projects be the first Black senator from a state in the old Confederacy? And here I sit, having been elected 5 times, my name on the ballot 5 times in Georgia. Kamala Harris can win. We just have to show up, and we have to show up with our money as well. Glad to see the donations rolling in. She is responsible for so much progress. She's a proud HBCU graduate. She went to Howard University. I'm a proud Morehouse man, but it's all HBCU 1867 love. And she is the one pushing President Biden as he's forgiven all of the student debt. She has been in the fight with us, investing in HBCUs, more than $16 billion. This administration has already invested in HBCUs. The list goes on and on and on, but I promised you I would be brief. And so I'm going to keep my word. Let's make this happen. History is watching us, and the future is waiting on us. The time is now.
All right, Frat, I appreciate that so very much. Let's go to the Speaker of the House of Virginia, Don Scott. Don, from my chapter at Texas A&M, my alpha brother, just elected Speaker of the House. We made it happen, helping him. Don, go.
Thank you, man. Thank y'all all for the work that y'all are doing. I am so very grateful to see this happening tonight. This reaffirms my faith, not only in America, but in Black men and the role that we play. We have an opportunity to put an extraordinarily talented political personality in the presidential house, and that is Kamala Harris. She is a foundational, inspirational person, and we have an opportunity to put her there. Don't believe the lies. We know that a lie will be halfway around the world before the truth can catch up. And so it's important that we make sure that we give her the resources. I've learned the hard way over these last 2 years, Roland, as you know, winning here in Virginia, that they will come with all kinds of lies and attacks to try to keep us from our destiny, to keep us from where we've been. I have been a person who was just as involved, and I had a felony conviction. But I am now the first Black speaker in the 405-year history of Virginia, in the cradle of the Confederacy. So don't tell me what we can't do when we make up our minds, we put ourselves together, and we lead, and we lead, and we do the work. I'm so very proud of all of the brothers on this call. We have work to do. It's time to stop talking. My mother used to tell us all the time when my sisters wanted to date somebody, romance without finance is a nuisance. We need to raise the resources so we can make sure that the return that we expect from our government, we have made that investment for those returns. So I'm grateful to be on tonight. I'm thankful to you, Roland and Michael, and all of you guys who did the work this evening. And so I'm just on board. I'm 10 toes down for Kamala, and 06 to all the brothers out there. Y'all have a good one.
Don, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so very much. All right, y'all. So Holly Holiday has sent me a text. Win with Black women, they crossed the $2 million threshold. We've already crossed the $1 million threshold in 2 hours. And so, y'all, give secure.donate/TCP-Kamala. Share it on all your social media platforms. Let's make this thing happen. David Johns, you're up. David, you're up. 2 minutes. Go.
Hey, brother. I appreciate you, bro. I got you. I'm thankful for the space and the steadfast leadership of all of my brother organizers. I want to give a special shout out to Brother Quentin James and all of the good brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated on the line. Beloved community, we are so much closer to freedom than we know. When we fight, we win. And by sheer mathematical permutations, those of us who care about democracy, who care about Black people thriving, should win almost every political contest. I'm excited and I want us to keep this energy going. Shout out to our sisters, including Joteka Edie and the Win with Black Women crew for laying the foundation. Let's keep this energy going for Vice President Kamala Harris. Let's put the respect on her name that she deserves, in particular so white people don't go harder with the racism. Let's organize, let's combat misinformation and disinformation. Let's ensure that every member of our beautifully diverse community can vote safely. We got to do it together, right? This is one band, one sound. We can debate policy nuance in private, but we got to remain united in our support in public. Now, here's the last thing I want to say. We got to engage young people. Most of y'all know that I'm honored to have served Barack Hussein Obama, still my president, leading the White House Initiative on Educational Excellence for African Americans, traveling across this country, talking about representing this government on behalf of a Black administration. There's something called the Black effect. It does something to us. Let us not forget the 73% of Gen Z voters who want us to be voting to do more to increase support for the Black community. Let's also not fall for the trap of divide and conquer, that white supremacy stuff. Some of y'all are still uncomfortable saying gay. Some of y'all don't know how to say trans. If you are not comfortable making sure that all of us are free, this is not David Johns, this is Fannie Lou Hamer. None of us are free unless and until all of us are free. So let's do the work to make sure that all of us are free, and that requires us electing Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, our next president. Brothers, we can do this. Let's do it for all of our babies. Heavy emphasis on all.
All right, David, tell Brittany, bring her ass back in. Okay, she ain't fooling nobody. So
he's in my house, first of all.
I don't care if he in your house.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Brittany Packnett Cunningham. This is my brother. I just wanted to say I was one of the 44,000 last night, have been a part of Win with Black Women since the very beginning. And I just want to say it is beautiful to see our brothers standing up for and with Black women on this evening in public, just like you do all the time, just like y'all do all the time. So we're excited to see all this money you raising going to Sister Vice President Kamala Harris. And we're excited to see all this energy over the next 4 months. Love y'all.
We ain't had one dude on the women's call last night, but Brittany just want to just jump her ass on the call.
Switch it up. We're going to switch. You got to be disruptive. Good.
I'm about to cuss her out on the text. All right, David. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Mondale Robinson, you're up. Let's get to Mondale Robinson, then Cliff Albright.
Roland, what's good, man?
All good. You're on the clock.
Can you hear me, Roland?
Yes,
all
I
right.
can. You're on the clock.
Yo, listen. All right, well, listen. The clock is not as important as me setting the record straight. And let me start by saying that regardless of what anybody tell you, Black men will already guarantee be the second highest voting demographic for Vice President Harris, regardless. Let's just start there. So when people are already talking about what Black men need to do, I think we're already behind the 8 ball on that because we're forgetting all the weight that Black men are carrying. They keep saying we don't do our part, but they forget to tell you that Black men outperform everybody in Ohio in 2023 for women's right to choose. So when people are talking about Black men in this context, I want people to think about what science, not Mundell, not Black Male Voter Project, but what science tells you on how to animate and motivate people to do something and form new habits. So if the new habit we want to form is more Black men that don't normally vote to participate in elections, we don't need to be adding negative information about what it means to be Black man in the political space. So when people are creating judgment, animosity, or any chaos, you're not doing anything to help the vice president own this extremely important moment. So here's what we need to do. There are 9.6 million Black men in this country that are already registered. 9.6 million. Of that 9.6 million, 54% have not voted in any of the last 4 federal elections or only one. That is not a critique of Black men. It's a critique of stale tactics where we blame brothers even when we show up. I've heard people say that Black men are not a monolith. We are not a monolith, but we vote monolithic. And we should look at that as a code of honor because it says that we put community, we put people over ourselves because regardless of where you are geographically, regardless of where you are economically, Black men still show up and vote for our community. And if we're not acknowledging that, then we're not going to help brothers form a new habit and crack into that 3.5 million Black men who have already registered but not voted in the last 4 federal elections. So Mundell Robinson speaking on behalf of my organization, Black Male Voter Project, saying that we will do something that we've never done, and we will endorse in this election. And we will endorse Vice President Kamala Harris because it's necessary that Black folks show up in a way that says nothing will stand in our way in this moment.
All right. Mundell Robinson, my brother, I appreciate it. Cliff Albright, co-founder of Black Voters Matter, speaking in his personal capacity. Cliff, go.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on, Roland? So glad to be here. Y'all, we are having a good time. We got the momentum, y'all. We are well on our way to making sure that Madam Vice President becomes Madam President. We are raising over $1 million. We've got the delegate count that we need, pledged delegates. We got the momentum. So I'm going to share 2 words. Those 2 words are faint not. Why in the midst of all this would I be talking about faint not? Because as an organizer, and those of us who do this work know, not every day is going to feel like today, y'all. Not every day is going to feel like this kind of momentum and this kind of joy. There's going to be some hard days. There's going to be some bad polls, manufactured polls coming out. There's going to be some disinformation coming out about Madam Vice President. There's going to be some hate coming out. There's going to be some donors trying to switch up stuff at the convention. There's going to be some hard days over the next 15 weeks. But I'm going to say it again, faint not, because grow not weary in well-doing. Right. And so my message to us on this call while we're hyped tonight, let's stay hyped, even on the difficult days. Right. Grow not weary from knocking on those doors. Grow not weary from making those phone calls. Grow not weary from holding up those signs in the streets. Grow not weary in well doing, because in due season we shall reap if we faint not, y'all. If we faint not, we shall reap. And when we reap, we got to reap together because as my brother just said a few minutes ago, none of us are free till all of us are free. So let's get it done, y'all. We got the momentum. Let's keep it going and faint not.
Love it. Cliff spoke in exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds. My man, I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. Let's go to Trey Baker, who's working with the not the Biden Harris campaign, now the Harris for President campaign. Trey, you on the clock.
My man, Roland, thank you so much. I want to thank all the organizers, Mike Blake, Quentin James, Khalil, Bakari. Brothers, this is a powerful moment that we're in right now. To have us all together, this is like one big barbershop. The alphas are acting up, but we got enough noobs here to clear all of that nonsense up. I want to tell you, this is day 1 of the Harris for President campaign. She has done so much today. She has gone to headquarters and she's laid out a clear contrast between her and the other guy. She laid out the contrast of the prosecutor versus the criminal. She laid out the contrast of a champion for reproductive rights versus someone who is proud to have done away with Roe versus Wade. She laid out the contrast of a fierce ally of the middle class versus somebody who's into billionaires and tax cuts for those billionaires. And she got the handoff from Joe Biden, who's going to go down as the most consequential president of our lifetime, who appointed this Black woman as vice president, who appointed the first Black woman Supreme Court justice, and we just appreciate this handoff to this next generation. In one day, she's raised over $81 million, 880,000 new grassroots donors, 28,000 new individual volunteers have come up. So the momentum is here. We are pushing it. People are excited and ready to go. And so what I want to do is draw your attention to the link should be coming up, or the link should be up for you to click on. It's very straightforward. Things haven't changed all the way over yet. It's joebiden.com/volunteer. joebiden.com/volunteer. You can go there and pick out different things that you want to do. So if you want to knock doors, if you want to make calls, if you want to raise money, there are opportunities for all of you brothers here tonight to do something to push this. We are going to win. Kamala Harris is going to win and be the first Black woman president of these United States. And I'm confident that with the Black men that we have in this room, that we're going to be able to push it. Combining that with what Black women did and what Black women always do, I'm very excited about the future. And so I encourage you, go to joebiden.com/volunteer and get involved. There's so many ways to get involved, and we just appreciate you, Roland, for this opportunity. And I'll throw it back over to you, and we're going to get out here and keep doing the work.
All right, my brother, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Joe Paul, you're on the clock. I got Joe Paul, and I got Cameron Trimble. I got Commissioner Rodney Ellis, Mandela Barnes, Joshua Dubois, and Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed. Go.
This is 06 to my brothers. Brothers, this is our time. Everything is on the line. This is our lunch counter moment right now. When they look back on this day, this year, this election, they're going to ask, what did Black men do? And we're going to respond enthusiastically. We're going to say Black men voted. Black men showed up and showed out. Black men reclaimed their power. We put our egos and pride of ownership aside to collaborate and ensure we made history, not excuses. They're going to ask, what did Black men do? We're going to answer with pride. We showed up and we had our sister Kamala's back. We championed policies that improved the lives of Black men everywhere and the Black community in general. We showed up and we demanded a Black man on the Supreme Court. We showed up and we demanded jobs and training opportunities for our young brothers. We showed up. Black Men Vote PAC's been on the ground since January, protecting the blue wall states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Just this year, we've registered over 60,000 brothers across these battleground states. Our goal is to reach 100K by October. We're going to do it. Through our Shop Talk initiative, we're training barbers to have meaningful conversations. Brothers, this is not just about us. This is for my 2-year-old son asleep upstairs. This is for your young brothers and our young sisters who are counting on us to get this thing right the first time. They're watching, and they need to see that we're willing to stand up for their future. Our actions today will shape our tomorrow. Let's make sure that we leave them a legacy of courage, unity, and progress. Let's show them that Black men stood up and we showed out. We made a difference. Brothers, donate. We need you to give. We need every brother to bring as many Black men to the polls this November. Black men vote. Brothers, let's make history, not excuses. Thank you, brothers.
All right, Joe, appreciate it, Brad. Thanks a lot. Let's go to Cameron Trimble, Hip Politics, a former digital engagement director for the Biden-Harris White House. Cameron, you're on the clock. Go. You got Cameron? Cameron, go. Cameron.
Yo.
You're on the clock. Go.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you for putting this together. I'm gonna keep it short and simple. I'm gonna keep it.
Cameron, do this here. Turn the program feed down. Just talk to me on the screen. Turn the program feed down. Just talk to me directly. And in fact, just take your headphones off.
Got it.
Now, just talk.
Thank you, Roland. Coming to you as President.
All right, Cameron, now you hit the mute button. Cameron, you hit your mute button.
We got you. Sorry. Thank you, man.
I was your ass the digital director for the White House, and you can't get your damn computer straight. Man, talk.
Thank you. I'm over here doing this. Yes, Cameron Trimble, former digital engagement director for the Biden-Harris White House. I'm going to keep it short and simple. All of our research, everything is pointing. We as Black men are the #1 target online for disinformation and misinformation. I just wanted to come on and give some quick shares, 3 quick to-dos, 3 quick do-nots, because the collective power here, while we have our financial and voting power, this online battlefield for misinformation and disinformation to reduce our numbers by just a little bit is going to make the difference in so many states. We need you, 1, share your content loudly and online. We are trying to create online permission structures for brothers who are not politically involved to make sure they feel comfortable sharing their support. Engage with positive Harris content only. If you see negative content, do not comment, do not like, do not share. It feeds the algorithm. It keeps negative content going online. Number one thing, please only share factual government or trusted sources on voting locations and polling locations. We are getting a ton of information that there will be misinformation around polling locations and places to vote. So please do not share that. Do not engage with negative content. Do not amplify information that is not from a trusted source. And please do not believe everything you see. There is going to be so much happening online. So please make sure you're sharing loudly and proudly for Kamala Harris for president. In politics. Thanks, Roland.
There you go. You talked in 1 minute and 58 seconds until after we had to go through all them damn technical issues. All right, Cameron, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Let's go to Houston, Texas. Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis.
Roland, thank you.
This dude y'all ever seen.
Roland, thank you for doing this. And I want to thank Michael Blake, Khalil, Bakari, and Quentin, and of course, Vince Evans, who gave me a call. He was on the vice president's staff when she was in the Senate. Look, I want this race to be successful because, Roland, I'm so tired of being embarrassed to say I'm from Texas. You know, this is not a red state. It's a blue state that does not vote. And I think with Kamala Harris at the top of this ticket, you're going to see a change. And next go around, if we don't get it this go around, next go around, people are going to say Texas, of all places, is a swing state. Vince wanted me to mention how long I've known her. I've got the privilege of being able to say that I wrote a check to her first campaign for district attorney in California. She took on the incumbent who she worked for. She won. She did a great job as DA. When she decided to run for attorney general in California, the second largest justice department in the country. And being from Northern California, from Oakland, you would have thought Southern California, where more of the votes are, had an advantage. She won that race. She decided to run for U.S. Senate, raised an unprecedented amount of money. She has earned the right to be president of the United States of America. Roland, I'm excited. I wrote a check. I want to stay on this line because it's important for Black men to stop all of that BS, all of that talk. I remember when Maynard Jackson was leaving and Andy Young was running the first time, some of those folks who were on the other side, Maynard had a phrase for them, shuffling and grinning. And on the other side, they're going to have a few shuffling and grinning people saying she has a problem with Black men. Nothing could be more ridiculous. And to show that we raised over $1 million, I hope we surpass what our sisters did. So, brothers, I wrote a check earlier. I wrote one of the checks the first time she ran. I'm going to write another check. So I'm going to end my comments, and I want everybody else who's still on this line, you wrote a check, write another one. Thank you, Roland.
All right, then. And again, Commissioner Ellis, just real quick, because I'll give you 30 seconds, just a few words about the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
We're going to have a homegoing ceremony. Nobody could work harder than Sheila Jackson Lee. She raised the bar for all of us. The Congressional Black Caucus members did a special order tribute to her tonight. What a great leader. She became America's Congresswoman. In fact, I tell folks all the time, if you walk in a room and nobody knows who Sheila Jackson Lee is, get out because you're in the wrong room. A powerful voice, and we're going to miss her. And she fought cancer until the end, out passing out supplies for her constituents. And she is the reason Juneteenth is a national holiday.
All right, then. Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Folks, if you want to understand why voting matters, in 2022, 50,000 fewer people voted in Milwaukee than they did in 2020. If those 50,000 people in Milwaukee had voted in 2022, our next speaker would have been the United States Senator from Wisconsin and not MAGA Ron Johnson, who was a part of the conspiracy to overthrow the government. Joining us right now is Mandela Barnes. He joins us right now. Again, he lost by 26,000 votes. And so if y'all understand what happens when we check out of a process, that's what happens. Mandela, go.
Hey, I just want to say thank you so much for having me, man. Was proud to have been on your show during my time as Lieutenant Governor. You gave me an audience when I was running for the United States Senate. I'm glad to be here today talking about why we have to support Kamala Harris. We all understand why, and I think you made the case very clear. You talked about that 26,000 votes. To put it in context, my race came down to 1%. There are a number of reasons. There are a lot of folks who had the means to get involved in this race, but decided before I even got in, or at the time I got in, that my race wasn't winnable for whatever imaginable reason. I'll let you take your guesses. But there are going to be so many people that think that this race in November is not winnable for the same exact reasons. And for those folks who have the means that will not show up for Kamala Harris in the way that they would have shown up for somebody else, we have to step up as Black men and fill in the gap. She has been there for us. And I can tell you right now, 4 years ago, she wasn't my number one choice. I was not all in for Kamala Harris, but right now, today, for November 2024, I could not be more in for Kamala Harris to make sure that she's the next president of the United States. So we got to show up like never before. But the folks on this call, we get it. We understand. And I know for sure, because I know some folks who've already texted me, and I've seen some group chats, and I know some of us have some mutual friends, and I know some of our mutual friends have shared some real bad stuff in the last couple of days that is completely wrong, out of line, and out of place. We have to correct that. We do have to pull brothers to the side and tell them that we have to show up because she has shown up for us. Nobody is going to show up like she has. I can guarantee you it's not a single thing that Donald Trump has done in the 4 years that he had a chance to do something for us. So, brothers, thank you so much. I am here representing Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Gamma Phi Chapter, Alabama A&M Spring 2005. But most importantly, somebody who is dedicated to democracy, somebody who wants to see this country strengthen. And we know what an uphill battle it is going to be. We're going to have our disagreements. Roland, me and you, we've disagreed on things before. But I can tell you this, we're going to be united like never before. And everybody else who's on this call, whether you're part of Divine Nine, whether college wasn't for you, if you are a Black man in America, if you find yourself in a struggle or somebody you know, a friend, family member, or neighbor, I need you to step up for them. And if you can't donate today, knock on the door tomorrow, do whatever it takes, show up. Just want to say how much I appreciate this time. We're going to win with Black men. They always doubt us, but we're going to show up and prove everybody wrong when given the opportunity to.
All right, well, I'll let a Kappa go 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I appreciate it. Thanks, Mandela. Yeah, I've been sitting down for 4.5 hours, and so I had to get the damn massage out, sitting down, handling all this sort of stuff. All right, y'all, let's go to Virginia. My alpha brother, Congressman Bobby Scott. Congressman, go right ahead. We got Congressman Bobby Scott. Keenan? Congressman Bobby Scott, go right ahead.
Hey, how you doing, Roland? Thank you for doing this. This is great. When Joe Biden was in this race, we were talking about the number of jobs he created, his infrastructure, his health care, reducing health care prices, the environment, putting money into education, and comparing that to Trump's record, where all he did was a tax cut for the rich and posted the worst job numbers in about 100 years. You remember those long lines to the food bank that he wants you to forget? And when you couldn't buy toilet paper anywhere, then he managed to get himself impeached twice. That's the record, his record, and that was Biden's record. And now that Kamala is leading the ticket, we don't have to change the message at all. It's still jobs and infrastructure and health care and everything else. We can get this done. I talked to the Virginia delegation a little while ago, unanimous for Kamala. I was at the Divine Nine group this morning, still got my alpha tie on, and they were all for Kamala. And I contributed $190.06, $190.60 Either give $19. You can give $19.06. You can give $1,906. I gave 190.6. You can give whatever you want, but make sure that we double up because we can get this done. We can build on a great record and we can lead. Thank you, Roland, for all that you do.
Congressman Bobby Scott, I appreciate it, my brother. Thanks a lot. Let's go to Joshua Dubois. He served as the faith director with President Barack Obama. Y'all, I didn't plan this. Yeah, he's an alpha. Go, Joshua. Joshua, you on the clock. Joshua Dubois, then Gary Chambers, then Mayor Stephen Reed. We got Joshua. Joshua, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm here, Brother Roland. Brad, thank you. Q, thank you. Khalil, thank you. Reverend Michael Blake, thank you. Sister Joteka, thank you. Brothers, this is historic. This is powerful. And this is God ordained tonight, y'all. Remember where you were on July 21st and 22nd, 2024. These 2 days will literally change the course of the nation. Listen, I'm going to say one thing. I was proud to work closely with our first Black president, my friend and mentor, Barack Obama, but I'm actually not here thinking about and speaking in a professional capacity. I just put my kids to sleep, and right now I'm thinking about my role as a husband and a father. Y'all, this ain't a Black woman thing versus a Black men thing. This is a Black family thing. Our support for Kamala Harris is something that will change the trajectory of our children's futures. One candidate supports policies that will strengthen families, healthcare access, educational opportunities, economic opportunities, voting rights, responsible policing, and one candidate would leave my kids and your kids and our families out to dry. This is a Black family thing. Last night, my wife was on the line late with our homegirl, Joteka. I couldn't sleep because she had the Zoom open in the bed next to me till 1 a.m. But it's all good because we in this thing together. Tonight, I got my laptop out and she's upstairs right now listening to me talk to Brother Roland, but it's all good because we are in this together. My kids asked me, what are you doing so late up on the computer, Daddy? And I said, I'm fighting for their future. If you're asking yourself, or if somebody asks you why you support Kamala, it's because you care about your families. And she's the only one that supports policies that will strengthen Black families. Black men are for Kamala, Black women are for Kamala, but Black families are for Kamala too. In fact, me and Michelle want to get mamas and daddies and babies on the line together and rally for Kamala Harris. So let's push back on the haters in the barbershop, y'all. If they ask you why you're with her, say you want to be with the AKA instead of the KKK. Spread the word, donate tonight, but most importantly, remember that this is for the future of our families. Thank you, Brother Roland, and thank you to all the brothers that put this together.
All right, I appreciate it, Frank. Thank you so very much. Hey, y'all, let's go to Montgomery, Alabama. Here's Stephen Reed representing for the Omegas in Alabama. What's up, Mayor Reed?
Roland, how you doing today,
All
man?
good.
Hey, listen, thank you and everybody for putting this together. I was on a little earlier, called Leader Morial, called Bishop, called Reverend Barber, called so many people, Reverend Jamal Bryant. I mean, you've had a great team, and I know some of my brother mayors have gotten on here already, but as a president of the African American Mayors Association, representing over 520 some odd mayors across this country, small, mid-sized, and large cities, we're excited about Vice President Harris becoming the next president of the United States. I can't tell you enough how much her leadership and her friendship to us has been crucial over these last 4 years and what they have done to bolster cities and what they have done to bolster many of the things we want to do in our communities. And so winning with Black men has been evident from the time she came in as VP. And I think we will see that even more as president. So I want us to really make sure that we're reaching beyond our own circles, make sure that we're doing things beyond our norms and talking to brothers everywhere we can in barbershops and everywhere else about why this election is so important. I'm excited about the energy that we have because I felt like we were lagging behind these last couple of months. And now there seems to be that burst. Now there seems to be that injection of not only money, which is great, but energy in the campaign that I haven't seen probably since 2008. And many of us who were doing a lot of that work then, whether we were volunteering or whether we were just trying to help out President Obama. It's great to see that back. But we got to make sure we get everybody to the polls. And I want to say this before I run out of time. Roland, you talked about this a lot on your show. It's so very important that everyone on this network, everyone that has been on this call, talks to people about how to register to vote, where to vote, and how to make sure their vote is counted. Because the other side is set up to steal this election. The other side is set up to take away votes and deny people their legal right to vote. They have done it through the courts. They have done it through the legislature. They've done it through secretaries of states and other election officials. How do I know? Because I was a chief election official for Montgomery County, Alabama for 7 years. So I'm telling you what I know. We got to make sure that all the men who we're talking to, all the men that we want to bring out to bring other men to the polls, understand what the rules are in your cities, in your counties, in your states. And we don't need to wait till the last minute because the race is now. The race is already on, and we have to make sure that we aren't cheated out of this and we aren't shortchanged out of these votes because we've got too many swing states, too many counties that are going to come down to just a handful of votes that can make the difference. And that's why certainly it's important that Black men get out and vote, but we also have to make sure we inform them of how they should vote and why that is so important and how to make sure ultimately that vote is counted. So I just again want to thank you, Michael Blake, Bakari, and everybody, Khalil, everybody for putting this together. Thank all the brothers who've been a part of it. And let's not make this the last time that we get on the call between now and November.
Nope, not going to happen.
Let's do as often as we need to.
Well, it's not going to happen. That's why we got the database. And so we're going to make that happen. Mayor Stephen Reed, president of the African American Mayors Association. Appreciate it, bro. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So here are the next 4 people. Okay. So Keenan. Next is Gary Chambers, then Jamie Harrison, then Tennessee Rep. Justin Jones. We got Michael Eric Dyson. We got Congressman Troy Carter of New Orleans trying to call in, multiple people. So here's the deal. So again, Gary's gonna speak, then Jamie's gonna speak. I gotta go to the damn bathroom. So if Gary finished, Keenan, and I ain't back, pull up Jamie, and Jamie, you just talk. All right, let's go. Gary Chambers, you on the clock.
Thank you, Roland. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak. Let me be to the point. We as Black men have a responsibility and an obligation to our communities to this moment. There's a picture that you see behind me of Black folks that were elected in the 1800s. Ever since we got off the plantation, we have been fighting for economic progress and political progress because when we are not in the political conversation, when we are not electing our people to serve, we are on the menu. I'm from Louisiana, the 50th ranked state, and we gave you Mike Johnson. And understanding that this is the second largest population of Black people in a state in America, and we don't have a Black person elected statewide because of voter turnout. And so when folks who ask me, why am I supporting Vice President Kamala Harris, the stakes are too high. You can have disagreements with things in her past and her record. You can feel all of the things that you want to feel, but feel them while you go to the voting booth. I felt all of the things that many people feel conflicted about President Biden, but I was going to vote for him. And I have a deep understanding, and I put my money where my mouth is tonight and made a contribution to the vice president because this is not about our emotions. And for brothers who are in their feelings about these things, get out your feelings and do what we got to do as leaders in our communities. Because when we show up and when we participate, change happens in our communities. Understand this, they allow the red hat Trumping Black men to get the telephone and the prompters and the exposure. But it is really 85% of Black men that showed up for Joe Biden. And we as Black men are going to show up for Kamala Harris because we understand that our liberties are at stake, that our rights are at stake, and that the future of our children is at stake. And so I'm just asking you, no matter how you feel about the situation, about politics, this is not an emotional decision. It's a business decision. And it's time to take care of business. We have a candidate that we can support, somebody that understands our plight, and somebody that we can talk to. Let's get to work, brothers.
But Gary, let people know, listen, you were on my show, you were on other shows talking about Louisiana and about turnout. Black turnout in Louisiana was abysmal. And then what happened? Jeff Landry wins. You got a Black guy who's running the Democratic side. Landry comes in and he is driving a MAGA agenda. What Jeff Landry is doing in Louisiana is exactly what Trump's Project 2025 is. And it's going to be the same thing for America if Trump wins.
And Donald Trump is considering a person like Jeff Landry to be the Attorney General of the United States. Let me tell you, he has been governor less than a year. He has taken away probation and parole. He has increased the penalties for juveniles when they commit a crime. He has released juvenile records. He has taken the ability to appoint the chair of the board for every higher institution, education body that is state funded in this state. This man is on a power trip of no record that we have seen before, and he is a Trumper to the highest degree. And him, Mike Johnson, and the cronies that they are putting, the policies that they are trying to put black folks under, was preventable if black folk had showed up. There are 900,000 registered black voters. The man won with 500,000 votes. If you don't get off your ass and do your part, that's how we lose. If you're wondering why we don't pass policy, we don't pass policy because we don't vote down ballot. Y'all mad at Mike Johnson, but Mike Johnson right now has no challenger in the state of Louisiana. And if you think he's bad, why is nobody on the ballot against him? When we talk about the change that we want to see, we gonna have to make it happen because ain't nobody coming to save us.
All right, Gary Chambers, my brother, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. All right, folks, joining us right now, he is the chair of the Democratic National Committee, hailing from South Carolina. Please welcome Jamie Harrison.
Thank you, Roland. And man, Gary just preached a whole sermon. Folks, listen, it is clear that Kamala Harris is going to have this nomination. Texas, California, all of these states have come out and have demonstrated her strong support. Just this type of forum is unprecedented. We are all a part of history right now. And the question is, how is history going to note us? You know, often growing up in South Carolina, you watch Eyes on the Prize and all these other things about the marches and the civil rights movement, and you often wonder, what would I have done in that moment? Well, you don't have to wonder about what you're going to do in that moment because you're in that moment right now. You are in that moment. So the question is, what are we going to do? Are we going to sit back on our hands and say, woe is me, when we see what they have on their agenda? We know what Project 2025 is. We know that if it's going after everybody's freedom, who's the first freedoms that they're coming after? It is ours. You know, I live in a state raising my two black boys. Same state in which they still have a statue of Ben Pitchfork Tillman, a man who basically would go to the floor of the United States Senate and talk about the joys of lynching of black folks. Democrats have tried to take that statue down, but you know what? Republicans said, no, let it stay there. It's our history. At the same time, they're trying to wipe away our history. Folks, we have an opportunity to make our own damn history. We have that opportunity. It is in our power. Gary talked about the fact that we don't turn out. I ran against Lindsey Graham in a state where 400,000 unregistered black voters. I lost by, I got the same amount of vote that Donald Trump got when he beat Hillary Clinton by 13 points. But I still lost to Lindsey Graham by 100 and some thousand points, votes. Folks, we can change that. We have the opportunity, and we have somebody like Kamala Harris, who has done so much for us. And we got to continue to fight. We got to continue to go. And she has an agenda that will transform our families. Think about wiping out medical debt. How many of us have medical debt that we are carrying, or our family members have medical debt that they're carrying right now? And wiping that out, taking it off of our credit report. That is how we are able to then live the American dream. Dealing with the child care and student loans and all of these burdens that we have right now. It's time that we fight for ourselves, and it's time for us to get the people who will fight for us. And we got that. So, folks, let's continue to organize. Let's continue to mobilize. I'm proud. I'm the first time in 175 years of the Democratic Party. We've had two black chairs before me, Ron Brown and Donna Brazile. But this is the first time that a president of the United States and a vice president picked a black person to be chair of the DNC in the 175 years. So, folks, we got it. We got the right tools. We just got to use it. We got to use our voices. We got to stand up.
All right, Jamie Harris, I appreciate it, my brother. Thanks a lot. Let's go to Quentin, folks. He is the deputy campaign manager for Harris for President. Quentin, go right ahead. You're on the clock.
Appreciate you, Roland. And I just want to thank everybody for this call tonight. I was just with the VP earlier. As Roland mentioned, I'm the principal deputy campaign manager on the campaign. And before that, I ran Senator Warnock's campaigns in Georgia. So I know a lot of the fellows on this call were also in Georgia on the ground helping get that over the finish line. I mean, look, I think the speaker before said it perfectly that this is a business decision for us. I think even after the president stumbled during the debate, I think that we saw the people asking the president to step aside. We know what the backbone of the Democratic Party is, and the vice president is ready. She is the best person. I tried to think of, what I would say that hasn't been said on this call. Our path to victory is still there. Before, we were looking at the blue wall states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, the Sun Belt states and the southern states, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina. North Carolina's got an extreme person running on the ballot as well, just like Donald Trump, an African-American, already dealt with something like that in Georgia against Senator Warnock. But our path to victory is there. She performs better in some of these states even. I think we have to look at that and leverage the strength of that. We're talking about rural Black voters. I heard Roland talking about Louisiana and some of the gains that were made in places like that. We got to organize in those places. And so I know that his brothers on this call from all across the country, whether it be, from Atlanta to rural Georgia, but don't forget about our rural counties. 25% of the voters in Georgia and North Carolina are rural Black voters. They're our voting base. And these folks are energized now. Obviously, we see the enthusiasm that the vice president is getting from the money standpoint, $80 million raised 24 hours. And obviously, this group on the call doing this. The last 2 days and 2 nights alone, just with the Black Women's event and this event tonight, are unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this in politics. And we also haven't seen a change of a candidate with 100 days to go. But I think that we're united. We got something to fight for. You heard the chair just lay out the record of accomplishments. I think we got to, ignore the noise that's going to try to pit us against each other as we move forward in the next couple of months here. Because for us, it is really only one outcome. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have Project 2025. They want to usher in. I mean, it is dangerous. It's scary. The vice president is going to get torn in a lot of different directions, and she has been since the moment that she stepped office. She's a woman. She's a woman of color, and she can never be enough of any one thing for anybody. And I think we have to make sure that we're constantly holding her up. We have to make sure we're supporting her. That is what this call is doing tonight. I know the energy is only going to keep going. We need y'all. We are figuring it out, right? Like, she just took over the mantle. The campaign is in the field, testing, polling, doing research. I know people are hungry, for that specific data that a lot of people on this call, I see a lot of organizations, a lot of elected officials want to know how they can tap in. And we will do our best to make sure that we're coming up with that and getting you all, the theory of the case on where we need to be, who we need to be talking to down to the district levels so that people on this call can get to work, but also want to partner with you all. I know a lot of people on this call are involved in organizations that are helping specifically drive up the Black male vote. And I think it's a lot of, concerns out there about the Black male vote, but really the gap in between Black voting and white voting is really what's going. The voting has actually stayed pretty steady, but the portion of Black voters turning out, specifically Black men, is low. I do these briefings all the time. I have it by the state level of how many Black men, Black women, age groups, religion, anything you can think of. And so really want to just partner with you all to make sure that we can get the VP across the finish line, and appreciate the support tonight.
All right, Quentin, we appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Folks, money update, Mike Quentin, what up? Quentin James, Mike Blake, bring him up. Hold on, before we go to Justin, I need a money update. Mike Blake, Quentin James, where you at? Quentin, you in audio only. Turn your camera on. All right, y'all ain't ready. You there? Y'all ready? All right, Quentin.
Yo, folks. Hey, this again is an amazing night. As Quentin folks just said,
This is unprecedented, gentlemen. Over almost 16,000 brothers have given tonight, a total of over $1.2 million. We are catching up to the sisters from last night with Win with Black Women. Let's keep it going, y'all. I don't want to, nitpick. I think it took them about 12 to 14 hours to reach that $2 million mark. So we've done we've done 1.2 million, a little less than 3 hours, y'all. Let's keep this momentum going. We got some more speakers, but let's give. And also there is a volunteer sign up form as well, joebiden.com/volunteer. People can sign up. We're going to support with our money, with our time, our talent. We're going to bring it all to bear to elect our sister as the first woman, first Black woman, first Asian American woman president of the United States. So thank you again, Roland. Let's keep it going, y'all. 1.2 million so far. Let's get to 2. Let's get to 2 million.
Yes, sir. Let's appreciate it. We had New York Speaker Carl Heastie on. Let me know if we get him back. Let's go to Tennessee. State Representative Justin Jones. You on the clock, my brother.
Appreciate it, Roland, and just want to thank Brother Alan Williams and Brother Khalil for making sure I was linked up to be on the call. I'm calling from Tennessee, the state that was the first state to unanimously pledge our delegates to Vice President Kamala Harris. We in Tennessee stand with the Vice President because she stood with us in one of our darkest times last year during our expulsion. We were expelled on a Thursday. The Vice President came to Tennessee within 24 hours on Good Friday to stand with us, to let them know that these attacks on our democracy would not happen without challenge, that this state that is the birthplace of the Klan would not fall back into our darker history, but would rise into a new vision of what we could be as a multiracial democracy. And so we stand with the Vice President. I stand with the Vice President because when we were expelled and when we were silenced again come a few months later, the Vice President checked on us each and every time and stood with us and said, how could she support what was happening in our state, a state where 1 in 5 Black men cannot vote because of felony disenfranchisement, a state that was one of the first states to pass book bans and bans on Black history, a state where it's easier to get a gun than it is to vote, a state where it's easier to get a gun than it is to get health care. And yet the Vice President said that we are not going to be alone here. And so we stand with her. As the youngest Black lawmaker in our state, I'm so excited about this campaign to know that we will have a Vice President who will not neglect the South, who recognizes that the South is not going to rise again, but it can rise anew. A new South that we represent here as we fight for a vision that roots human dignity and rights. And so I'm 100% behind the Vice President. I know that she is lifting up a new generation of voices in this moment that we're in, a moment of crisis where we're facing a real threat of authoritarianism. I tell you that I come from a state that we talk about Project 2025. I want to let you know that Project 2025 is Tennessee 2024, that we already see what is at risk in this moment. We see the risk of authoritarianism, of anti-democratic behavior. We saw that they banned books and banned Black history and tried to ban Black lawmakers, but they won't ban these militarized guns that are terrorizing our kids. And so we need a Vice President who we know will not just speak about it, but will be about it. And that's what we saw last year. Is what we've seen consistently with Vice President Kamala Harris. Honored to be a part of this call. Lift up the voice of our generation who say that we stand with her. Whatever we can do to support her, whether it's your resources, but also young people, we got to knock doors. We got to get out the momentum. We see the excitement from young people in this moment. And it's making me hopeful that we're not just fighting against something, but we have a proactive, positive vision of what we want this nation to be. In a time where DEI is being weaponized and used as a bad word, we know that we have someone who will fight against these attacks on our history and these attacks to bring us backwards in our history. To a time that we don't want to go to. And so I'm completely behind the Vice President. I know Tennessee is behind the Vice President. And I know that the South is behind the Vice President because we know it's at risk in this election. We know it's at risk of being lost, our voting rights, our healthcare rights, the reproductive rights of our sisters and mothers and our friends. And so we know that we have to fight like hell to make sure that come November, that Vice President Kamala Harris is the President of the United States of America. And that not only will we make history, but we'll bring forth a new vision of what this nation should and can be. And so honored to be here supporting VP Kamala Harris, a fighter for the people.
All right, then, Representative Jones, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. All right, then, again, reminding all speakers, 2 minutes max, y'all. We got a lot of other people we're trying to maximize. It's 10:53. We're live at 8 p.m. We're going to take this for only 1 hour and 7 minutes. We're going to conclude at midnight. Just letting y'all know. So, speakers, get ready. I'm coming to y'all. I need y'all to give. We want to hit absolutely 1.5 million. We want to hit 2 million. Look at the donate button. Secure, SECURE.ACT. blue.com/donate/TCP-Kamala. Take that, share it on all your social media platforms, push that thing out. Money is going to the campaign, but more importantly, it's going to Black male organizations that are on the ground, that are going door to door, that are doing phone banks, that are doing precinct walks. That stuff takes money, y'all. I tell my audience all the time, this studio, my crew, the cameras, all this stuff costs money. And so this is what needs to happen. We've got to fund our grassroots efforts. We can't wait on other folk to do it. And so we need your support. So let's get it going. Wes Bellamy, are you there? Wes Bellamy. Wes Bellamy with 100 Black Men. We got Wes. All right, we ain't got Wes. I'm gonna move on. Y'all know I don't roll how I roll. Michael Eric Dyson.
Yes, sir.
Michael, hit me up. Here we go. Michael, there you go.
All right, my brother. Thank you, Roland, for what you're doing, your leadership and organizing and galvanizing us. Look, we have a historic opportunity to get into office, the first woman, the first Black woman, the first Asian woman in America to represent us. But it's not simply about the titles. It's not about the magnificent, if you will, sexiness of being the first. It is about on-the-ground commitment to our people and the ability to tell the truth about what's happening in America. Joe Biden passed the torch to her. Joe Biden has done more in his first term than many presidents have done in 2 terms. And the fact that he gave that baton to Kamala Harris means that she has the integrity, the inspiration, and the imprimatur of the guy who did a great work to give it to this woman now who is able to take that baton across the finish line. And I'm so glad that Roland and others have organized and galvanized Black men, because we have often been seen as has-beens, also rans on the margins, demonizing and stigmatizing our sisters. No, we stand up for that which is good, that which is profitable, and that which is amazingly helpful to our community. And Kamala